Taboo. Object class, Keter. Special containment procedures. The extra-dimensional location described below, as well as the entities and landmarks contained therein, are non-nomenclative hazards. There's issue class, and therefore may not be referred to by name, title, or designation. Only descriptions may be used when referring to the force outside normative space and native entities thereof. Variations must be made in these descriptions. Each time a subject is described, the description may be color-coded for clarity, and Florida language may be used for the sake of nomenclative diversity. In the event of a nomenclative containment breach, a standard issue class recontainment protocol must be carried out immediately by individual responsible for the breach. If the individual is rendered unable to perform the procedure, the responsibility falls to the individual's next of kin. If the individual responsible for breach has no next of kin, the individual's name must be expurgated from all existing documents and records. Any other individuals possessing the same name are to be administered her type G viral amnestics and assigned a new one. In accordance with Order 05-4000-F26, at least one successful expedition into this strange and dangerous woodland area must be carried out now per year to assess any deviations from baseline abnormality. Due to the high risk involved with entering the place where the nameless are found, personnel sent in to conduct research must be trained in standard exploration protocol detailed in 4000-SEP. Unauthorized documentation of the forest found in the chimneys must be suppressed via standard information containment protocol. Unauthorized individuals with knowledge of procedure 4000 Holloway are to be administered amnestics and may be released following a period of disquisitional rehabilitation. Description: the SCP in question is an extra-dimensional forested area with numerous anomalous qualities, including hazardous nomenclature phenomenon. This anomalous location is accessed by performing 4000 Holloway. See document doc 4000-8. After completing the procedure, subjects emerge from the opening of a dilapidated brick well fixed into the forest floor. See Figure 1.2. The only way to reliably traverse the unusual terrain is by the use of a single dirt path. The explorations that diverge from the said route have resulted in immediate loss of contact with participating subjects. The sole safe road may only be traversed in a single direction, and any attempt by the subjects to turn back and return to the way they came will result in a similar loss of contact. The unnamed world does not adhere here to the constraints of linear space. Cultural graphic endeavors have resulted in very vastly different routes being recorded with each expedition, and sections of the mandatory trail, which should logically overlap or intersect, do not. The only consistency in the layout is the access point, which always located at both ends of the main road. The only way for a subject to safely exit the woods which have no name after they have begun following it is by walking the entire length and returning to the place where they began, at the opposite end. A variety of anomalous entities native to the nameless habitat have been documented. Native entities these often undergo changes in physical structure when unobserved, which has made it difficult for researchers to determine which recorded entities are unique beings and which are new or iterations of those previously documented. Entities these claim to have no control over these changes and frequently express dissatisfaction when they occur. Native entities often obstruct the trail with subjects' tread, making it necessary for subjects to interact with them and to progress. Native entities are sapient and often highly temperamental, but can be interacted with safety as long as 4,000 synset precautions are followed. The consequences for disregarding these precautions will vary depending on the personality of the offended entity. Degrees of retribution encountered by research subjects have included verbal rebuke, acts of violence, and anomalous alteration of the subject's physical, conceptual, and nomenclative attributes. Various anomalous phenomena may occur when consistent nomenclature is applied to the realm of the unnamable, its entities or its landmarks. These phenomena are poorly understood, partially due to nomenclative experimentation under O54000 F26. Documented nomenclative phenomena have included episodic cluster among headaches among subjects exposed to affected nomenclature, visual and auditory hallucination among exposed subjects, usually involving environments or it is described by nomenclature. Gestatory hallucinations and phantasmia have also been reported in a small subset of cases. Some unpsychogenic amnesia among exposed subjects. The development of non-human physical characteristics among exposed subjects, such as feathers and pollen sacs. The development of biological components in non-biological media where nomenclature is written or recorded. Sudden involuntary transport of exposed subjects to the wilderness of unnamed things without the use of Procedure 4000 Holloway. Manifestation of various flora within indoor spaces where nomenclature was used. Sudden transport of native entities to areas where where nomenclature was used, biological fusion of exposed subjects and native entities, biological fusion of native entities in architectural spaces where nomenclature was used, extreme iron deficiency in exposed subjects with an absence of expected negative side effects. Order 05-4000 F26 was ratified by the Overseer Council in 1954. A 1970 amendment requires that L5-4000 F26 receive unanimous endorsement from the Council every 10 years in order to remain in effect. To date, no overseer memos regarding 05-4000 F6 26 have been dismantled to lower clearance level. Notable containment breaches. Accessing content. Please stand by. Request. Notable containment breaches. Access granted. Addendum. The following are examples of anomalous phenomena observed during nomenclature breaches. Breach date June 9th, 1954. Named subject, the glide of which we seldom speak. Summary. Initial discovery of and subsequent breach took place in an abandoned home in rural Connecticut. Circumstances of the discovery are unclear due to the lack of surviving personnel. But a general timeline of events have been established. Timestamps are in standard NATO format. 1340S. The hollow of unspoken titles. Is discovered and given a temporary Type E designation by a field agent in Garrett Bradley, creating nomenclature breach. 13445S. As field agent in Moira did not. He enters the land beyond the flu and is never recovered. 1347S. Agent Bradley begins to gradually sink into the hardwood floor. Nearby agents flee the area. 1348S. Soon after exiting the house, all agents are suddenly rendered immobile, with the exception of Timothy Woods, who is not aware of the Type E designation. 1349S. Immobilized as agents vocalized distress as their horse was elongated. 1351S. Elongation ceases after agents have reached a height of approximately of that of the chimney, where procedure 4000 Holloway was performed. Smoke expels from their facial orifices. Timothy Woods reports these developments via radio to Site 08. Secondary breaches caused when Timothy Woods repeatedly used the phrase "the redacted" to describe the world where words have power. 1355S. Timothy Woods states that he sees his name in the trees. Site 08. A personnel pressed Timothy Woods for further information. Timothy Woods attempts to orally consume his radio and soon expires from internal injuries. 1359S. Timothy Woods' correspondents in Site 08 are observed suffering from severe severe headaches and are placed under quarantine. 14224S osteal protrusions resembling tree branches emerge from the orbital cavities of quarantine Site 08 personnel. Personnel report or no physical discomfort despite exhibiting full globe electrocution in both sockets. Afterward, nomenclative anomaly eventually discovered, but after cycles of multivariable D-class exposure to affected Site 08 personnel. Breach date December 22nd, 1955. Named subject, the footpath which loops around the entire area. Summary, desk has completed the first successful exploratory mission in the grove beneath nameless stars. It was immediately quarantined. After exhibiting no anomalous effects for 72 hours, Desk as what was allowed to write an account of his experience. When researchers returned to check on his progress, Desk had vanished. Traces of soil and human tissue were later found in the pencil paper and Harvey manifest field Desk had used in his writing. Breach date August 19th, 1958. Named subject, the native entity that sits on top of a throne of bones and cradles a flaming child. Summary. After completing an exploratory mission, Field Agent Ethan Mercy you used the same epithet several times when describing a particular native entity. Several minutes later, he complained of severe nausea and began to vomit blood and bone marrow. Over the course of several hours, Agent Mercy was reported to have somehow orderly expelled most of his bones. Personnel outside 08 experienced auditory hallucinations of a woman's laughter for the next several days. Breach date March 4th, 1966. Named subject, the native entity that resembles a feathered lion and with a skeletal ram's head. Summary. College student Vanessa Hayforth attempted to check into numerous medical facilities in and around Portland, Oregon, complaining that her head had been covered in flesh despite exhibiting no signs of unusual tissue growth. She was eventually detained by the Foundation investigators and found to be in the possession of a book that described, among other things, Procedure 4000 Holloway in its entirety. After stipulating that personnel assisted in removing the flesh from her head, if she cooperated, Hayforth confessed that she had received the book from an acquaintance in the Wanderer's library. Afterward, this was the first known case of a civilian trigger nomenclative breach. Similar incidents have occurred immediately since. In 2012, a native entity was photographed who superficially resembled a young Hayforth figure 0.11. More than two decades after Hayforth died in Foundation custody. Breach date October 30th, 1992. Named subject, the house in which Michael Ashley Vincent spent several nights during his exploratory mission. Summary. Agent Michael Ashley Vincent, who had completed an exploratory mission several years prior, used the possessive phrase redacted house several times while recounting the stories to his colleagues, who did not have names. Sometime later, a large brick building manifested inside Site 8, intersecting with existing architecture. Michael Ashley Benson's headless body was found inside, seasonably infused at the neck to a light fixture made of elk antlers. His face, which did not appear animate, had a large to take up of the entire surface area of the building's floor. Field agent sentient in the face's mouth found that it did not possess a full digestive tract. However, Michael Ashley Vincent's his nameless colleagues were reported to have been conjoined with its uvula. 4,000 Holloway. The following is the center list of instructions for accessing the horizon beyond labels. Certain steps have been omitted in this version of this document. Phrases and counterphrases at the end of the procedure will differ depending on the subject's type category. The oldest child in their family, type 1, the middleborn, type 2, or the youngest, or type 3. Number 1. Using organic kindling, start a steady flame within any indoor fireplace. Step 2. Combine powdered bones of a male red fox, spews any age. An adult male lion, Panthera leo, and a baleen whale, mysteriously any age, any gender. Cast a mixture into the fire. Take an easily burnt personal possession of strong sentimental value and allow the fire to consume it. Carefully release the feathers from any black-pumped bird of the genus Corvus over the fire and allow the smoke to carry them up the flue. Number 5. If the fire begins to emit vocalization, respond with an appropriate counterphrase. See phrases and counterphrases below. If the correct statements are given, the fireplace will expand and the ladder will descend. The fire will be harmless. If incorrect statements are made for any reason, then immediately apologize and do not attempt procedure 4000 Holloway again at any point in the future. Note: individuals who are present during procedure 4000 Holloway, but were not the one conducting the procedure 4000 Holloway, must not respond to vocalizations or approach the active fireplace under any circumstances. Phrases and counterphrases. Variant 1. Type 1 subjects. Phrase. These words have rules. Counterphrase. Or so they say. Phrase. And if you break them? Counterphrase. A price I'll pay. Variant 2. Phrase. Is someone there? Counterphrase. There's only me. Phrase. And who are you? Counterphrase. I guess you'll see. Variant 3. Type 3 subjects. Phrase. What do you seek? Counterphrase. To walk the trees. Phrase. Now, mind your manners. Counterphrase. To walk them, please. Note, the following is a truncated list containing only instructions that are crucial to survival. Personnel assigned to exploratory duties must also familiarize themselves with 4000 sub 3 through 8 before embarking. 4000 sub 1 General guidelines for exploration. 1.01 You must be equipped with a standard Foundation expedition pack prior to entering the place where names are not allowed. 1.02 Do not consume any food other than the rations included inside the standard Foundation expedition pack. 1.03 Do not bring firearms into the dimension of trees under any circumstances. 1.04 Type 1 subjects must avoid accepting or directly handling that which could be considered a valuable resource. This includes, but is not limited to, forms of currency, precious metals and stones, objects imbued with useful anomalous properties, and well-crafted weaponry. 1.05 Type 2 Whose subjects must avoid any native entity that regard the subject with affection or romantic attraction. It must not give the appearance of rebuking these feelings in any way. Statements made by a native entity which profess affection or romantic attraction for a Type 2 whose subject are false. 1.606 Type 3 These subjects must avoid partaking in activities that are commonly considered frivolous, luxurious, or physically comforting. This includes, but is not limited to, dancing, smoking, playing with toys, drinking anything other than water, listening to music, and sleeping on a padded surface. 1.077 Structures encountered along the way you must travel must be entered after knocking at the entryway. Leave the structure from where you came. If entering uninvited, do not be discovered. 1.08 If you fall asleep in the woods where rules are paramount, record your dreams. A journal is included in your expedition pack. If you encounter any landmarks or entities similar to a dream you recorded, treat the dream as fact. Guide 4000 Sub-2 Guidelines for interacting with native entities. 2.201 Greet native entities with any formal salutation before engaging in conversation. If female, bow or courtesy. 2.02 Speak in a cordial tone of voice. 2.03 Do not make any statements that you know to be false. 2.04 Do not make disparaging comments about native entities while in their presence. 2.05 Say please and thank you when appropriate. 2.06 Refer to and address native entities using descriptions of their physical appearance per Protocol 4000 SU. 2.07 Do not refer to an entity by a name, title, or designation, even if it introduces itself with such. 2.08 Do not state your name, nickname, codename, alias, or any other personnel designation when in the presence of a native entity. 2.09 If a native entity offers to assign you a name, title, or designation, politely decline. 2.10. If a native entity makes a statement at which it addresses or refers to you by a name, title, or designation, or anything other than physical description, ignore a statement as though it had not been spoken. 2.11. If pressed for information that is useful that is considered confidential, refuse, briefly apologize, and bow. 2.12. If a native entity appears to require your assistance, consider its appearance before choosing to help. 2.12.8. If the entity appears threatening, do whatever is necessary to aid it. 2.12.B. If the entity appears attractive or harmless, do not approach. 2.12.C. Always feed a native entity if it is hungry. This overrules 2.12b. 2.13. Do not attempt to mount any bestial entities you encounter unless it has earned your trust and given you its consent. 2.14. If you are offered a physical gift, receive it with both hands. Do not discard this gift, even if it appears to have no use or value. This is overruled by 1.04. 2.15. If a native entity offers you a non-physical gift or attempts to initiate a trade, politely decline. 2.16. You may accept food offered by native entities and offer that food to other native entities that you encounter, but do not consume it yourself. 2.17. Do not sleep in any lodging offered by native entities. You may sleep inside the residence of a native entity, as long as you do not have an invitation to do so. 2.18. If a native entity offers to accompany you on your journey, accept, but do not tell them where you are going. 2.19. If you are aided by a native entity, you must aid it in return if you have not done so already. 2.20. If you encounter an incorporeal humanoid that claims it is not a native entity, disregard all previous protocols and follow its instructions. Interviewer: Dr. Eugene Japers. Interviewee description: the native entity with a head resembling that of a rabbit's. Forward: interview conducted in 2005 during Dr. Japers' first expedition into the space where speech is deadly. Begin log. Good morning, strange traveler. Good morning. It's nice to see a new face around these parts. Kindly excuse if there's smoke. Just airing my thoughts. How is your name? I'm sorry, I can't hear that. Dr. Japers bows. Are you simple? I'm merely asking how is your name. My name has smelled raspberries lately. I think, or snapdragons, perhaps. It's so hard to tell these days. But one makes an effort. My apologies. I'm afraid my name has tasted rather tart as of late. Deliberately, an entity laughs and doffs his hat. No, I'm the one who should who should apologize. I shouldn't have breathed. It's quite all right. I don't mind at all. No, it has been lovely to meet you, but I must be on my way. Must you though? My home is close by. And I was hoping to invite you in for tea. Dr. Japers bows again. I'm terribly sorry, but unfortunately I cannot stop at this moment. Perhaps another day? Very well. Until next time, stranger whose name and tastes rather tart and long. Interviewer: Dr. Eugene Japers. Interviewee description: the gentleman with the leopardine visage. Forward: interview conducted in 2008 during Dr. Japers' fourth expedition into that burrow betwixt the bricks. Begin log. Dr. Japers crests a hill and discovers his hare-like acquaintance tending to a patch of cabbages. Good afternoon, stranger. Pardon me. We've met before, haven't we? Good afternoon. I believe so. Yes, 3 years ago, if memory serves. I remember yet now. You ran in off quite a hurry. Yes, my apologies for that. And that time, I was new here and wary of those I encountered. Still the apologetic one. I see. No matter. You are not from here. Here? Very interesting. What woods are you from? I do not come from any woods. Nonsense. Certainly have trees where you come from. Do you not? We do have trees, but they are very sparse. Most of the land is covered in homes and businesses. Then they are interior woods, but woods nonetheless. Tell me, how did you get here? I see you have an inquiry in mind. I would like to ask you a question, if that's all right. Pardon my lack of manners. I consider myself something of a scholar, you see. And I get a bit excited when I have a chance to learn the forest outside my own. By all means, pose your question. When we last met, you said it had become difficult to describe your name. Do you have any theories for why that may be? I can only assume it's because of how long we've been apart. My name and I, that is. It was a good name, a proud name. I'm very sure. But by this point, though, it's probably decayed from its former grandeur. If it even still exists. What do you think it is currently? First, fellow scholar, you must answer my previous question. Jasper nods. Dr. Japers nods. I came through the old but distinguished as well. At the end of the footpath, I'm presently perambulating. The other individual hesitates before speaking. Oh my, it's been quite some time. I'll be frank. I thought that all the old allies had died out. Did your grandfather or some such relation have a lover out here? Dr. Japers bows. My deepest apologies. I'm afraid I cannot answer that question. Very well, I understand. I invited you here to my cottage for tea, but I suppose that's not possible for you, is it? I'm afraid not. For the conversational partner laughs, plucks a cabbage leaf, and offers it to Dr. Japers. You needed to fear so much. Take this and be on your way. Dr. Japers accepts the leaf with both hands. Thank you very much. Happy travels to you. And and may you find the one you're looking for. End log. Afterward, Dr. Jabers later used the cabbage leaf to feed a native entity he resembling a field mouse, which in turn aided him on his travels. Interview Archive 4000 sin 0215. The following is a series of interviews conducted by Dr. Eugene Japers over the course of several years. This data has been expunged from all general documents under Order 05-4000 sin F206. Interviewer Dr. Eugene Japers. Interviewee description: The Leaf Giver. Forward. Interview conducted in 2013 during Dr. Japers' ninth expedition into yonder vale of restless wanderers. Due to the unique knowledge that the one who bore the gift of cabbage, which seemed to possess, says about our world. Well, Dr. Japers was instructed to conduct a more thorough interview should it be encountered a third time. Additionally, Dr. Japers was granted special permission to make false statements for the sake of facilitating in conversation, as his first encounter showed the fluffy one to be susceptible to deceptions. Begin log. Traveling along the way of weary adventurers, Dr. Japers encounters a small white cottage with a thatched roof. A small opening in the shape of a rabbit's head was cut into the door. Dr. Japers approaches it, and knocks. Hello, is anyone home? Voice slightly muffled from inside. Yes, 1 minute. Exactly 1 minute passes. The door opens. Ah, we meet again. Please, come in. Dr. Japers is led inside. The interior is sparsely decorated with wooden furniture and needlework. You have a lovely home. Ha! You have a lovely sense of humor. The homeowner hurries to a kitchen in the counter and begins preparing a kettle. No, really, I think it's charming. I suppose it was just meant to be until things cool down on the other side. But, well, you know. I'm afraid I don't know. No, would you like some help? No. You just have yourself a seat. See at the table over there while I get a tea ready for us. Dr. Japers draws a chair and seats himself. You're most generous, but I don't think my digestion will permit it. Oh, poor fellow. Will I find the presence of tea to be a comfort in a way in any case? You're most kind. Tell me, could you explain what you meant by cool down? His bird hose turns the stove on and stares out a window cut into a similar shape as the hole in the door. Your relations didn't tell you the full story, I suppose, about the turmoil that drove us here. Turmoil? Was there a war? The tough one size. Isn't there always? My grandparents did tell me there were wars, but I never knew of one with you and your kind. It didn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. There are very few even in these woods that still remember. Memory is the burden of the old, I suppose. But yes, when I was a young lad in a form very different from what I possess now, I lived on the other end of the well. It's where I was born, where I grew up, and if I dare to dream what where I will someday return. Why don't you then? The kettle whistles. I can't, not unless I know I could be welcomed back. The maker of the tea pours a cup and seats itself across the table. I'm sure you don't know this, since they keep themselves hidden, but there are those who would destroy me at the nearest chance. My apologies. These are dark memories. I'm sure you do not want to hear about them. The teller of the story sips its tea. No, please go on. These things are of interest to me. I'm a fellow scholar, remember? As you wish, fellow scholar. I shall talk until the tea is cold. It clears its throat. Much as grieves me to say it, we were betrayed. We had fought side by side, in the war against that factory. We had done nothing but help them. And what did they do? They destroyed us. They took so many of our lives and all of our names. Some of us fled here when the war was just beginning, but not many. Not many. Still though, I don't hate them. I'm glad for that. I'd imagine so. There are some old foggies around these parts who bear a grudge against the whole species. But I know you're not all bad. There were many who sheltered us, fought for us, even died for us. Some came to live here amongst us, rest their soul. I myself did a human once upon a time. He came to visit a time or two, but I never saw him after that. I still wonder now again if he fell at the hand of an unkind neighbor, or if he merely stopped caring to see me. But it's no matter now. I apologize for prattling on about old flames. Certainly, such things are of no interest to you, fellow scholar. On the contrary, I'd quite like to hear more of these stories. The life of you and your people is of great interest to me. I'm sure it is, fellow scholar. A strong breeze moves through the house. Neither party speaks for a half a minute. The rabbit person who lives there grunts and places a hand into its head as if in pain. Dr. Jabers places his hand in against the teapot. It appears the tea has gotten cold. I think it's time I took my leave. What? You're leaving? I should leave too, then. Dr. Jabers rises from the table. No. I'll be going alone. Thank you. It's abroad, yes. And I'm grievously sorry to do this, but I really must be going. I believe I'm long overdue to return home. What is? Please, don't go. Something isn't. It can't be helped. Oh, stop. What have you done? I don't know who. What happened to my name? I can't. Dr. Jabers quickly exits the house. His former companion whimpers and looks his hands as he leaves. It does taste rather tart and long. Afterward, Dr. Jabers successfully returned to Site 08, but was reported to missing soon after. Into his disappearance and current whereabouts are inclusive. It was initially theorized that Dr. Jabers was exposed to an anomalous influence on his physiology during his most recent mission. However, through analysis, it showed no genetic anomalies in the fur he shed on on his expedition gear.